Hi, UMS friends. It's Melanie again with some more interesting facts about bees. I would often take out my National Geographic magazines in our classroom because I love National Geographic. They go all around the world and they study and research animals and plants and climates and people. And oddly enough, they had an article about honeybees a couple of months ago. So I was really interested to find out that before President Trump was president, we had another really great president named President Obama. And his wife was all about people eating healthy, especially children eating healthy. And so she made it a point to start all sorts of organic gardens at the White House where the president and his family live. So part of what Michelle Obama knew when she was planting her garden was that the plants and the vegetables were going to need bees in order for the bees to pollinate the plants. So she decided to hire a beekeeper. And the beekeeper became part of kind of like one of the White House worker bees himself. He set up beehives very similar to the ones that we just read about in the story that I posted previously. And then the beekeeper took some pictures of some of the things that he uses when he's working with the bees in the White House. And way, way, way at the top, there's this right here. It looks like the top of a box with a screen in it. And that's his hive top feeder. And he needs that for feeding sugar syrup to the bees in the fall so that they're going to have enough food to keep them alive when it gets really, really cold in the winter. So it's awfully nice of him to help the bees out that way. What else do we have right here? This is a smoker, and puffs of cool smoke get blown into the beehive to keep the bees calm whenever the beekeeper has to inspect or move honey. And way up here, this is his veil, the beekeeper's veil. He zips this to his jacket, kind of like a hat or a hood. And the netting protects the beekeeper's head, and especially his eyes, so his face doesn't get stung while he's working with the bees. Let's see, what else do we have down here? The white sleeves and jacket down here. He has to wear elastic cuffs and a waistband to help keep him from getting stung by the bees, and also for keeping his clothes clean. Down here, he also took a picture of a magnifying glass. He needs a magnifying glass to look at the honeycomb cells deep inside the honeycomb to make sure that the bees and the honeycomb are staying nice and healthy. Let's see, way over here, there's a little pot. See if I can get this in the picture here. There's a little pot of red paint and a marking tube. And he uses that red paint to put a teeny weensy tiny little red dot on the queen bee to make it easy to identify her. And I think that's it for that. Oh, one more picture over here. Way over here in the corner is one of the wooden frames, and you can see a little bit of the honeycomb in it. Inside of the beehive box, these frames are removable. You can take them in or put them back, take them out or put them back in. And it gives some structure or frame for the bees to be able to build their honeycomb on. Then up here in the corner, way up here, he has taken a picture of a honey pot. He's harvested some of the honey, and just like in our story called The Bee Man, they put a little bit of the honey back into the hive to support the bees so they would have some food in the fall and in the winter when it gets cold. So they're feeding the bees. And this right here, this slat of wood, this long piece of wood. This is used when they need to shut the beehive temporarily. Around this time of year, around Easter at the White House, they have a big Easter egg hunt or Easter egg roll for children. And they don't want the bees to be flying about and harvesting the honey when the children, probably 100 or better of them, are out playing on the front lawn of the White House. So they close it up and they use this slat here to lock down the hive box. And when all the children go away, they take that wooden slat back out of the hive so the bees can come and go again. And they use a paintbrush, just a regular paintbrush like we might have in our houses. But when they want to harvest the honey from the beehive, they need to take this paintbrush so that they can very gently move the bees out of the way, get them off the hive so they can pick off the honey and some of the honeycomb. And then way down here in the bottom, there are some twigs. And they use these twigs right down here for the smoker. Remember, they've got to smoke the bees to calm them so that they can even get in there and get the honey. So they'll put those twigs in there and light them and make a very gentle smoke to calm the bees. And then sometimes they also use straw when they're insulating or wrapping up the beehives for the winter. Because remember, the bees have to stay warm in the winter. And that's how the beekeepers help do that. They stuff the sides with straw, and then they wrap it with fiber, kind of like a quilt or something, so that the bees are good and protected. So anyway, those are just some more interesting facts about bees. And in another day or two, I'm going to see if I can find a model of a honeybee or parts of a honeybee, and maybe another book. So stay tuned. Bye, friends.